at the back of the head and migrate it to the front
What?
for maximum hold.
We're not going to learn a thing.
All right, welcome back to another School Principal Reacts. We are continuing to go through Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, and I don't know what to make of this still frame. This episode is called Substitute Teachers, which is definitely a reality at every school in America and around the world. Sometimes a teacher will be out, and inevitably someone has to take that class on, and many times it's a substitute teacher. I can't wait to see what this show is going to do with this concept. I don't know what to make of the still frame here, but there's only one way to find out. Just a reminder, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, take a minute and hit the button below to subscribe. I really appreciate it.
Class, I have some bad news. Mr. Wright broke his ankle on his bike this morning and won't.
Or was it his skateboard? Remember the whole skateboarding thing? And, you know, this does happen sometimes where you might go in and just briefly explain, hey, you're going to have a sub today, or whatever the case may be. An administrator walks in and briefly either tells the class that or takes over the class just until the sub can get there. That is very true and accurate.
Won't be coming in today.
Yeah.
And a substitute is on the way.
Substitute teachers. They're like a mini school vacation for one period a day. And it's important to know the different types. First, the one-day sub. They're great, but long-term.
Okay. This is very interesting to me. He's going to go through the types of substitute teachers. I can't wait to hear it. And he describes it as a one-day vacation. Ideally, it should not be, but sometimes if a teacher is unexpectedly out, it may feel a little less structured. But that teacher should have some sort of emergency lesson plan so that if something like this happens and they're out unexpectedly, that the substitute teacher can come in and still have something to go on. Now, if it's a planned absence, obviously the teacher is going to leave more detailed plans. At least that should be happening. One-day sub.
Let's have silent study
Silent study.
while I spray my hair.
No. No, that would never happen, or I should say shouldn't happen. I have seen some substitute teacher issues in the past at other schools that I've worked at, but the one-day sub, I mean, you do have plenty of times where you have a sub for one day and then you never see that person again. Or even if it's more than one day that the teacher is gone, it may not necessarily be the same person, although that is kind of ideal to have the same person for the entire time that the teacher is going to be out. And then she says, let's have some silent study while I spray my hair. No, that person does not need to work here in the school, even as a substitute teacher, but let's see what happens.
And then there's the long-term subs.
The long-term
which are the hardest subs to deal with because you actually have to learn stuff.
Today we've got and you should be learning stuff even with the short-term sub or the one-day sub. It's just that the long-term sub offers more consistency, and it kind of feels like after a while that they are the teacher of the class because they're there every day for a more extended period. Let's say the teacher has some sort of serious medical issue. I think in this case, Mr. Wright broke his ankle or wrist or something like that, and they can't come back until they're cleared to come back to work. Another example would be maternity leave or something like that, where you might have a longer term sub come in. And you do have to learn stuff, but you should be learning stuff even when a one-day sub is there.
But Mr. Wiener, who we've had since kindergarten and is our favorite sub of all time. Let's learn about Moby.
No. Now, one thing he did say is very true. He says that this particular teacher they've had since kindergarten. You do have subs in many districts, both big and small, that they either just like doing it or it's just a really good gig for them. And they have done that for quite a long time. It's sort of a trade-off being a substitute teacher. Some people say it's hard. Some people say it's easy. It's hard in that the students will try to take advantage of those people and situations. It's just the way that it is. The easiness comes from there's not nearly as much accountability and expectation of a substitute teacher. They are expected to teach. They are a teacher after all, but they're really just following whatever plan that the regular teacher left. And in the case of a one-day sub, they know that they just have to get them through that day and they don't have to worry about what happens after that. Some people just enjoy it though, and just do it over and over again. Now with this guy subbing since kindergarten, he should know that this is not age appropriate. He's expected to deliver instruction age appropriately, and I wouldn't say this counts, but let's see what happens next here. Uh-oh. Yeah, that'd be a problem. And by the way, I have had plenty of instances in my past where I've had to come sort of rescue a substitute teacher. Now, I've never seen a full-blown produce section be thrown at the substitute teacher, but I have seen subs that could not quite handle it. That is not most of the time, because if you're a substitute teacher for very long and you keep doing it, you know that is sort of the situation that you walk into. Sometimes students thinking, well, we can just do whatever we want. And of course, that's not the case, or shouldn't be.
Is it true? I heard Mr. Wiener subbing in English. I haven't seen him since like 5th grade.
Is it wrong to love a sub?
Well, class isn't exactly loving him like they used to.
But his waterbed is classic.
Waterbed?
Who doesn't
Or
laugh
waterbit?
at squirting water?
She doesn't like it.
Why aren't you laughing at the squirting?
Yeah, that was back when they were in kindergarten. And believe it or not, I have known several people from the past that it was this kind of situation where the kids liked them and they remember them from when they were in elementary school, and they've just always been a substitute teacher. I have seen that before. Yeah, stop while you're ahead.
Mr. Wiener was the one who told me to start a school journal when he rescued me from the girls' room. Eventually, it became the guide.
Wait, I thought I rescued you. How many times did you get stuck in the girls' room?
Once. Twice. Just twice. I'm gonna find a way to help Mr. Wiener like he helped me.
Okay.
Just twice.
Cook! I've got to pull a sub switch, and I need you to take attendance and social studies.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering, usually they each have their own little plot lines going. I'm like, okay, what's Cookie's deal going to be and what's Moses' deal going to be? I guess we're about to find out here.
Take the class through this review sheet. Do it or you're fired.
But
Yeah, I don't work here.
Come on, help me.
Yeah, and he shouldn't be doing this anyway. The taking attendance, back in the day, I did hear students do that. And even some now you'll hear students kind of sort of assist the teacher, I guess. But at the end of the day, the teacher is responsible for that. So if it's in any way inaccurate, it's on the teacher. Even if the teacher says, oh, hey, Cookie, go ahead and take attendance for us. If something about that attendance count is inaccurate, that's on the teacher. So most teachers don't do that. They just do it themselves.
Yeah, I've got 8 teachers out sick today. Thanks. Just don't overdo it, okay? Like you do with your inventions. Hey.
Yeah, a couple of thoughts here. So he says, I've got 8 teachers out sick today. That is a very real dilemma that administrators face. Now, 8 is kind of a lot, unless it's a really big school, which I've always known Polk Middle School to be kind of a small school. But he is having Cookie like teach the class. He said something like, take them through this sheet or this information. That's not his place. Crub should not be asking him to do this. Helping take attendance, yeah, that's probably okay. But having him do anything approaching teaching is absolutely inappropriate. But him being kind of desperate because there's a lot of people out, yeah, that does happen. Unfortunately, you may get, say, a wave of sicknesses or some event going on that takes teachers out of the school, and you still have to have school. And sometimes it can be challenging when you have multiple people out at once.
Your computers and whatever that thing is you wear on your glasses. Okay?
Just shoves them.
Now let's take a look at the review sheets I've placed on your desks.
No. Oh, is he using him as a substitute teacher? I thought he meant he was like helping the sub. But if he's having him actually sub this class, that's a problem. Krubs could get in trouble for that, because if anything at all happens in this classroom that someone gets hurt or whatever, he could be fired. Actually, Krubs could be fired. And I'm looking around this room. I've said this a couple times before, particularly with a couple of these faces, look way too old to be in middle school. Not all of them, but a couple of them are more like high schoolers or maybe even young adults. I don't know. I know they use different actors for this probably, but let's see what happens next.
Now let's put them down.
Spanish class.
Let's put them up. Put
Cookie.
them down.
No.
Up, down. Now let's get funky.
Oh. Okay, you see. Now, I suspect nothing bad is going to happen. They're just going to have some fun. But Krubs is responsible for this. What would happen in real life is at least one or two of these parents is going to hear about what happened here. And they're going to say, well, I don't send my child up there to dance around and have a dance party every day. And that's true. And so if it's found out that Krubs put Cookie in here and there's no adult, that would be a huge issue, and Krubs could get himself in trouble for that.
Who can tell me where Mr. Winky's last lecture left off?
What?
It was on the migration patterns of the moose.
Sweeney? What?
Always apply the moose.
Okay, I'm like, what is she doing? Is she going to spray them now with hairspray? And she's supposed to be some sort of hairstylist, model, whatever she is, and she's going to relate everything that she's doing to I guess fashion or hairstyles. I have never seen that before in a substitute teacher. I've worked with I don't know how many substitute teachers. I've never seen this before.
At the back of the head and migrate it to the front
What?
for maximum hold.
We're not going to learn a thing.
Okay, what?
Yes.
Mr. Sweeney was also going to take us out to the snack area to study
Doubt it.
snacks.
Oh man. So I didn't see what was at the top of this little page. Maybe it will show it in a minute. But I don't see this a lot. It's not really I don't feel good about this saying, oh, watch out for this student or watch out for that student. Shouldn't be happening, especially like this. But let's see what happens here.
Sorry, you're on Mr. Swinky's don't listen to list.
No. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what it said. A don't listen to list. No, that doesn't happen. Now, is it a reality that some students are more trustworthy than others? Yes. But most of the time, the other students, even if something like this happens, the other students will very quickly say, no, that's not true. I don't know if I've seen it too many times before where a class has just totally duped a substitute teacher. Have I seen it before? Yes, that has happened before. But I've said a couple of times before, students just in general are not great at keeping secrets. And so in a situation like this, somebody is going to spill the beans that no, we are not, in fact, supposed to be going to the snack area or whatever she said. But let's see how this turns out here.
She's not lying.
Oh.
Tuesday is study snack day.
Oh, no.
Okay, let's go outside.
She's going to ruin her reputation, though, probably. A lot of times, substitute teachers will leave a note at the end. I wonder if these subs are going to do that, and Mr. Sweeney is going to find out that Jennifer lied to the substitute teacher. A lot of times a sub will leave a note just saying, hey, it went well, or didn't go so well, and I had to write a student up, or maybe it's just something like they completed this assignment, but they weren't able to finish this one, and here's where they left off. A general report like that is very common. Okay, she lied.
Everyone read chapters 1.
What in the world? Okay, so now the still frame makes sense here. He made a little kindergarten, which I think this might entertain middle schoolers, actually. I think they'd be laughing more than they would be throwing stuff at them. But yeah, it's not exactly age appropriate, is it?
Tough crowd. You guys used to love tiny subs.
Yeah.
It's still early. They're probably just cranky.
Or is it because I stink? And I really wanted to sub in middle school. Better hours, better pay. Guess I'll never make it in the...
Better hours? How is it better hours? Typically, an elementary school is going to have, if anything, slightly fewer hours of actual school. If by better he means they may start earlier and get out earlier, I've been in places where that's the case. With the upper grades, they tend to start earlier and release earlier. So maybe that's what he means. I'm not sure, though. The pay, though, would be the same if this is the same school district, which obviously it is because Ned and the crew had him in kindergarten. Then the pay would be basically the same. They don't pay more for middle or high usually.
You just need to get the audience on your side. Someone to laugh and break the ice.
Okay.
And I know just the icebreaker.
Really? You'll help?
Hey, you pulled me out of the girls' bathroom once.
3 times.
3 times.
The big head, the small butt. Oh, that's hilarious.
Did everyone read the first 2 chapters of Moby Dick?
Chapters.
And this is not exactly age appropriate, but I would find it more entertaining maybe. And I suspect middle school students would also. I would think it might be too funny to them and it'd be so disruptive that they couldn't really pay attention to the actual assignment, but they're just not having any of it except for Ned, who's trying to hype them up a little bit. But let's see what happens. Oh, goodness. Yeah, I'm about to say, where are they getting all that produce? They seem to always have like full heads of lettuce just ready to go. That's pretty funny.
Lettuce and tomatoes, split up!
Split up.
I just got attacked for helping Mr. Wiener. I was a bad girl in science yesterday. I liked it.
Oh, she lied.
I love subbing. So I hacked my name into the school substitute list.
No.
And today I'm subbing 6th grade.
I think you need a teaching license to be a substitute
Yeah, so half true, half not true. So you don't typically need a teaching license, as Mo says. The reality is it's different in every state. Typically, you don't need anywhere close to the credentials that you do to be a full-blown teacher. Otherwise, those people would just go be teachers, obviously, unless they're like retired. You do get a lot of retired teachers that sub after they've retired because they can collect their retirement income and their income as a substitute teacher. It's really not a bad gig. But she says you need a teaching license, which is not the case. It varies by place. Some places you really just need a high school education and passage of either an exam or some sort of course or some sort of certificate to be a substitute teacher. But it's very, very easy, at least much easier than being a full-blown teacher, because in that case, of course, you need a 4-year degree and teaching certification issued by your state. So kind of half true, but Cookie certainly doesn't meet the requirements.
You don't need a license to sub. You just need a pulse.
No. And that's kind of a joke. He's saying that they'll take anybody, which, you know, sometimes school districts do get short on substitute teachers, and it may seem like they'll take anybody, but that's not truly the case, because it's not worth it for a school to put someone in there if they're immediately going to have problems. Some substitute teachers that I've worked with in the past have been more problems than they're worth, honestly, and they end up causing more problems. So you really do have to be careful in a sense, but as far as credentials and training, he is right. You don't need nearly as much as a regular teacher would.
Yes! Sweeney's out again.
Mosley.
Work your magic like yesterday.
Let's talk about moose
Poor lady.
migration.
Shouldn't we at least try to learn something?
What?
Oh, goodness. Yeah, see, she feels guilty about just straight up taking advantage of this poor old lady who can't seem to hear. I wonder if she's going to lie again. And if she doesn't, it's like the rest of the class kind of turns on her. So she's kind of in a tough spot here.
My hearing aid is acting up.
Uh-oh.
We were saying that we wish we could.
Oh no. That's terrible.
I've got to get a new battery. Talk amongst yourselves.
No, lady. Oh man. Yeah, she did it again. She didn't exactly lie, but she took advantage of an old woman's hearing problem in order to get her to leave. That's not good either. And I'm sure she's going to feel guilty this time as well. And if this looked like maybe a retired teacher, I mentioned that retired teachers do often sub because it's just really nice for them and they can continue to teach but not have the same level of responsibility that they once had and earn extra income on top of their retirement. It's really quite nice if you enjoy that. But she just says, talk amongst yourselves, and leaves. And again, if anything happens while she's gone, she could be held liable for that.
Thanks for the help, Ned. But I think I'm going to head back to elementary school where I belong.
What? You can't give up. You're the one who taught us the Never Give Up song, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, and that does seem like something that elementary school students would love and middle school students really wouldn't. And I've said this in other videos that a lot of teachers and substitute teachers too, they do gravitate toward one level or another. In other words, I have had substitute teachers that will tell me, well, I don't sub high school. I just don't do it. I only do elementary, or the opposite. Like, I don't do elementary. I only sub for high school or middle school. I haven't met that many people, although I have, who say, I don't care, I'll do anything. It does get them more substitute teaching opportunities if they say that, and they know that. But this guy is saying, well, I'll go back to elementary school, and that's fine. There have been plenty of people who have tried other grade levels, like if they really like elementary, but they try middle or they try high, and it's just not for them. That's okay. You don't want to go to work every day kind of hating it. So there's nothing wrong with this, but I get Ned not wanting to see him give up kind of his hero here. He's going to try to help him out, I'm guessing.
Teens do love music.
Mm-hmm.
So tomorrow, you're going to be known as the Rock and Roll Sub.
Rock and Roll
With the help
Sub.
of some special effects.
Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. And he's doing all this. Ned is doing all this just so the class will like this particular substitute teacher. That's a little hard to believe, but and where'd they get these other band members? That's kind of funny. Okay. Hazard? Yeah, that would be a problem.
They're not laughing, but they're coughing. That's something, right?
Mm.
I don't get it. Your songs always used to work. Remember the Walrus song?
Mm.
When you're feeling down,
Oh boy.
you got a big crowd. Bring it
Okay,
on.
but we could bring in the Walrus.
Hmm. Walrus. Oh, an actual walrus. Yeah, that would be really attention grabbing, but that might present some problems and be rather difficult and maybe even dangerous. I don't think this would be able to happen, but hey, it would get my attention for sure. Oh, yeah. Wow. Entire produce section there. Yeah, and of course, again, Cookie can't sub, and the whole slamming the ruler down. Yeah, that's not good either. That might get a few complaints. I thought he was going to hit the student, but thankfully he just like banged it on the desk, which isn't good either, by the way. Is this a substitute teacher? What? Chocolate mousse. Yeah. So she scams him again. And I've seen this actor appear as a nameless regular teacher before. I think he's been in a few other episodes as a teacher here, but I thought he was like a regular teacher, but just not featured really in an episode. Okay, wow. Okay. Yeah, I think one of those guys, I want to say he was sitting in a desk as a student a few scenes ago. But yeah, again, Cookie should not be subbing. Yeah, how long is that going to go on? Oh, dodgeball. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, now what's going to happen if Cookie subs for her class? Are they going to be able to manipulate him or not? And doesn't he still have to take classes? Did he just take off from school? Is he still getting grades? I'm a little confused there. I think his parent would probably have an issue with that.
We played dodgeball at science today and made the substitute cry.
Cookie.
I was not crying. My eyes were watering. I think I'm going back to sub in 6th grade.
How's it going with Mr. Wiener?
It's not going. I thought if I could make just one kid laugh, I could make it in middle school, but I can't.
Of course you can. You're the one who taught us in the 5th grade. We're all cut out for middle school.
Don't be afraid and don't be a fool, because we're all cut out for middle school.
Okay, that's enough. Let's face it. In this school, I wouldn't even make a good substitute butt crack.
Hey, you just made 4 middle schoolers laugh.
I did, didn't I? But I was kind of rude, don't you think?
Yeah, but funny. Rude, gross, crazy, nasty, sick. I mean, we love that stuff.
Why?
We have no idea. We just do.
And I think I have one more Mr. Wiener substitute idea.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't involve a walrus, does it?
When it comes to subs,
All right,
let's
let's
review.
see.
Moe's learned how to moose, play dodgeball, and Texas Hold'em. But she also learned a
Mr.
very
Sweeney.
important tip for the guy.
Uh-oh.
Eventually, the regular teacher will return. So keep up with the lessons.
Going to have a test on moose migration.
Which they didn't even cover. When a substitute teacher is in a class, the expectation is that that sub delivers whatever the lesson is. And more than likely, when the teacher comes back, depending on what the class is, there will be a review of whatever content it is, and they may want to go back over it, or depending on the substitute teacher's report, they may want to make an adjustment. But yeah, the assignments do keep going, especially if it's a long-term sub, for sure. I'm wondering if he's going to find out what Mose has been doing here.
Welcome to the list,
Uh-huh.
Miss Mosley.
Uh-oh.
And
The
she
do not
joined a
listen.
very exclusive list of students.
Don't listen to.
Let's get started
And
with
Cookie learned that subs really do need a certificate to teach. And not everyone can do it.
But he told him to do it. What in the world? He had him do it. And yeah, again, you need a certificate, or it's like a short course. It's really not a whole lot that you need. And you have to pass a background check also, because you're going to be working with kids. But you don't need a regular teacher's license. It's different in every state. I'm not sure what it would be in California, I think. I forgot what state they're in. California or Washington State, I think maybe. But you're going to need something, not just anybody off the street can do it.
Because it takes talent and guts to be a good substitute
True.
teacher.
Not Tiny Sub again.
Tiny sub.
No, it's Moby Dick! And maybe, Loomer, if you put your head in a book instead of your butt, you'd learn something!
Oh, they're going to laugh at that,
Hey, that's funny.
except for him.
Not as funny as what I did to Ahab's leg in my book.
Mm.
Watch.
Yeah, and you know, I have known teachers maybe not to go to this extreme, but try and relate different aspects of literature to students, especially if it's literature that took place in a very different setting or time period where it's difficult culturally to relate to that. They do try and make that connection and relate it to their daily lives. And then they can kind of see, oh yeah, I see why this character thought that or said that. I have never seen a teacher go to quite this extent, but he is doing better than he did before, I guess. Ooh. All right. Well, that's the episode. I really enjoyed that one. I had a lot to talk about on this one with substitute teachers. It is definitely a reality for most schools, and you do have vastly different types of substitute teachers, but they are there to continue the class and to keep the lesson plan going left by the regular teacher. But still enjoying this series. I think I'm getting close to maybe halfway through the series in total. I know we still have a lot of episodes to go, but I enjoy watching them week to week here right along with you, and I hope you do also. Just a reminder, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a brief moment and click the button below to subscribe or become a channel member. I'm going to leave the video here. I'll see you on the next one here on School Principal Reacts. Thanks for watching.